What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 28 of my Total War Warhammer 3 Malakai Makaisson Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, in a stroke of boldness, braving the danger of the Skaven hordes, Belegar Ironhammer managed to take Skaven Blight itself from under their noses and or whiskers. This does mean that another great grudge has nearly been completed, though we do still have to wipe out the faction for good. We're certainly on the way, which is lovely, and it's quite lovely for us. That said, we have also declared war on pretty much everybody around the vaults, so we're very much in danger in all of these territories here, and we'll have to be very careful. Also, I noticed something when I was doing diplomacy, or taking a look at diplomacy between the end of the campaign. Khemri has been completely wiped out by Skarbrand. I don't think I've ever seen this happen in any of the campaigns that I've ever run, whether I uploaded them or not. I don't think I've ever seen Khemri just get wiped out like this, so it's quite interesting. And Skarbrand also usually does okay, but I rarely see him do very, very well, so this is kind of impressive as well. Considering we have to go into the Badlands anyway, that's a stroke of good fortune for the late portion of this particular campaign. Anyway, in terms of what we gotta do this time, well, I believe it's, if it's not quite a new turn, it's nearly a new turn, so there's a lot of moves to make, so we're gonna start making them. Now, I did decide to rename King Lun Ironhammer to King Azrael to this point. I'm not 100% on Azrael versus something like Azric. Azrael means silver directly, but we could combine Azrael and Rick to Azric, and Rick means king or lord, so that might work as well. I just think that he shouldn't have a direct name. It should be more like a title or something along that line, because I don't think anybody in his clan, or maybe in his clan they do, but otherwise they wouldn't know who he is because he's undead and he can't speak. That works for me. But either way, there have been a lot of ideas and nicknames for him, so we'll record most of them in addition to story aspects from various sources. Silverhammer is my own addition, but he can be, you know, King Azric, the Silver Hammer, Tomb Warden of the Silver Pinnacle, affectionately called Bonebeard by his clan, and to keep his original legacy, we can say that he was born as King Lun Ironhammer II in ages past. And just gotta get all this down into my community canon records. Anyway, we'll keep him going. I also do want a specific unit. I do really like the Frost Silver Warden name, though. I want a specific bodyguard unit of his own, like hammerers. Maybe they have some, I don't know, some kind of silver anti-undead aspect to their armor as well. That maybe have sworn oaths of silence that are his own personal hammerer unit. Could use one of these names or one of the other names suggested, or if anybody comes up with a really good one that I like, we could also add that one. But anyway, for now, let's get going. I'm a sucker for the lore stuff, as you guys I'm sure know by now. And if you don't know by now, where have you been? Anyway, Stromny Halfhand, we're going to give you that Prospector real quick, because we're going to use you to sack the place. I know, sort of, sending this ancillary round and round is kind of annoying, but at the same time, if the game is going to be buggy and not give us any more of them, I really feel like, well, we should do that. So, you, sir, are going to go right here, move past this. You're going to auto-resolve this, like so. Then you're going to sack it for nearly 1,000 gold more. Then we're going to get the Prospector back in Malakai's army, and he's going to sack the next location. Where are we here? Prospector. There we go. Alright, and Malakai, assuming you can indeed reach Iron Storm, you will probably not... 9k. I thought it was more. Whatever. Let's see. Alright, we still have another settlement over there. It's alright. And we just wanted, what's-his-face, Zatan to revive, because I want to give his defeat rate to another lord. Sack this place as well. It will mean you won't be able to reach it, but that's alright. We should still be able... another Ring of Thori. You know what? I'm probably going to give a couple of the Rings of Thori to our fire army. And maybe even put one on every single unit in there. Kind of makes sense. Giving fire resistance and giving fire ability together. Anyway, you move as close to this thing as you can, sir, and stay there. We'll have Stromny Halfhand occupy it, and then we will move on to Bloodwind Keep here, and hopefully catch Zatan as well. Not for Stromny, of course, but what's the turn count here? 3 more turns? Okay, so we might have to wait for a turn outside, but we can always sack it and wait, so not a big deal. Anyway, Stachel. Jartrum, you were headed to Dagrek's End. What do we have in terms of defenses here? Pretty decent. That's a lot of armored units, in fact, which could be quite dangerous for this army, and we still need to replace these cannons with the additional flame cannons. But it's not going to happen right now, and ooh. Tempting to sack it, but it's tier 5, and it's in green territory, so we should probably hold on to it ourselves. Now, is this going to be a broken siege? It is because of the tower, right? We could give them a shot at, like, we could wait here for a turn and see if they sally out. I don't think that they will, but you never know. Dwarf siege towers are actually useless to this army because, I mean, we're probably not going to be sending a very limited number of melee troops up in towers, generally speaking. But besiege them for a turn, I'm willing to wait and see. We have a decent little bit of XP to apply, though, since it's been a few turns since we've last had a fight. Let's do Mentor, let's do Blade Master. Damn, 97 melee defense now. Stachel, you're gonna certainly hold the line, sir. Runesmith, you've only got 2 points, and out of hardened armor and sharpened weapons, we were gonna go sharpened weapons, simply because hardened armor isn't gonna be particularly useful for this particular army, which is already decently heavily armored anyway. And do so. And there we go, and that's 8 and 8. Oh, the third point is only a plus 2%. Not all that much, admittedly. Next up, we only have 1 point on Bernie. I guess I gave a point to Bernie. Let's get your Resolute, I guess. Let's get your Resolute. And then lastly, the Master Engineer. You have the Zufbar 42 pounders. We maxed out Triangulation. Sapper's not going to be crazy useful here, but it... you know what, yeah, let's go ammunition first. Or requisition some ammunition. Simply because the gyrocopters with brimstone guns have very low ammunition reserves, and they pretty much constantly run out of them, so it makes sense to do so. Anyway, Snorri. I guess we're moving back to the Black Pillar and then back to Spite Reach. Frankly, we could probably use another Lord to help you retake stuff quickly, but the supply line costs are pretty intense right now, so we're gonna wait. Plus, I really want to try summoning that unique Grudge Lord because I'm curious to see what it actually does. Don't collect the income here, at least not yet. Alright, let's see what else we've got. Grumby. And, ooh, are you in... Oh, you should be in range. We finally arrived at the next champion. Now, we can't see it, which might mean we have to force our way into an ambush, which ain't so great, but it might make for a very fun and desperate battle if that's the case. Thane... We were going through Relentless, and I guess we're going to continue. We do really need to be able to reposition in this particular army very, very quickly. You already have sharpened weapons, and you're working. Rune of Negation, Rune of Breaking. I'm gonna say Rune of Speed maxed out first, though. It hits pretty... Oh, no, we're still gotta go through Rune Master. Oh, you know what? Let's get Stubborn Mastery for that spell resistance. It's gonna be needed against any Tzeentch forces, and I mean, in general against Chaos forces, but specifically, particularly, especially, Tzeentch forces. Requisition, and double up on it, I guess. Bare Essentials isn't particularly needed in this army. And then what are you missing? You have the Zufbar 42 pounders. I guess you were going through Sapper as well, and then you can go through Requisition afterwards. Alright. Looks good to me. So let's move, let's say here. Wait, I think it's supposed to be at the crossroads, right? So let's move here. Oh, okay. It was just out of sight, just very, very slightly out of sight. I feel it's kind of stupid that the champions of the Dark Gods here don't have any grudges attached to them, and it's just silly, but nonetheless, as long as they give us good battles, I'm happy. What do we have here? Ooh, Doom Knights and Burning Chariots. Now, the Burning Chariots should be no particular threat due to being knocked out of the sky by our gyrocopter, or not gyrocopters, troll hammers. But I am kind of concerned about the Doom Knights. They can get to us very, very quickly. All right, Gromby, let's see what you can do against Tzeentch. Alrighty, first volley from our Troll Hammer Grudge Seeker. Grudge Settler, or rather, gyrocopters will take the shield off and do about half HP damage, nearly half HP damage to the Burning Chariot. Pretty darn solid, but 19.2 seconds reload time. They're going to be there for a while, possibly too long, as the enemy Doom Knights are a little bit incensed by the attack. We are going to send the other unit of gyrocopters to attempt to screen the Troll Hammers. But otherwise the Troll Hammers will attempt to fire. Looks like they're very, very near to being able to fire. We'll get one off and then they'll have to retreat. Just a couple seconds short. That's alright though. We'll simply back away to where our battle barge awaits and our line of the organ guns and our Troll Hammer torpedo infantry are getting ready to support. Just have to be real careful about the organ guns knocking our own gyrocopters out of the sky. We've certainly seen cannons knock a ton of gyrocopters out of the sky before, and we don't want to repeat the thing. Anyway, looks like these guys are drawing within range of the Troll Hammer torpedoes proper. They chase Troll Hammer torpedoes, and they get Troll Hammer torpedoes to the face for their trouble. Now this is probably going to be very, very ugly for the Doom Knights, as they should really have gone around our Troll Hammer range. There we go. And I wanted to slow this down because they drop out of the sky so quickly, especially as they're the only unit being fired upon in this manner. Anyway, Troll Hammers knock them out. These guys will break and book it on out of there while we continue harassing the other unit. It is too slow to catch the buffed gyrocopters with their speed at 173. And it looks like these guys are actually going to now try to wait for the rest of the army. They can't really do anything. Either they back off, they can't move forward because they'll get knocked out of the sky by Troll Hammers. They can't catch these guys. It's all pretty ugly for them. Anyway, how we doing? The enemy army is approaching, gonna get that Zufbar 42-pounder activation and do a little bit of damage to the enemy Forsaken as they continue to charge. Grumbrindle's still waiting in the middle of this. I was hoping that the enemy Lord would drop down upon him, but it might be that the Lord will ignore him. Instead, Gromby will have to content himself with knocking out a few Forsaken. We're actually gonna book him on out of there. I tried to run him away. Simply so that he didn't force enemies to bog down around him, but the enemy actually decided to use Gaze of Fate upon him as soon as he tried to run. On the bright side, though, a regular Lord of Change will land to actually give him a fight together with those Forsaken, so he should be happy about that, if nothing else. There we go. Those two can continue to exchange blows while the Exalted Lord of Change continues a little bit of spell work on us. He is going to get knocked out of the sky rapidly at this rate, as the Troll Hammers have found their range on him as well. He is attempting to cast, I don't know, probably some big spell, Infernal Gateway or Tzeentch's Firestorm, upon the organ guns there, and it will seem that he just manages to do so with 700 HP remaining. And the harpoon will knock it out of the sky. Oh well. Yeah, it's a Tzeentch's Firestorm that's going to do a little bit of damage, but we have used our Rune of Negation to counteract that. The other Lord of Change was fighting Grumbrindle, decided to give up on that and lift it up to the sky, only to get immediately knocked back down by the Troll Hammers and the organ guns. Out here, we've summoned our unit of gyrocopters, and they're just distracting some Exalted Pink Horrors and keeping them back, and otherwise, the battle is pretty much ours. Just a few more hits to the enemy. It looks like a Burning Chariot of Tzeentch decides to land. Get some of those lovely animations of it's going, but we'll get ripped apart by the Troll Hammers, just as most of the enemy army did as well. Troll Hammers are not going to be super effective against Pink Horrors and other piles of infantry, but that's fine, as they will begin to melt away. At least those that remain. Of course, the Forsaken are booking it on out of there. And with the last of the Exalted Pink Horrors gone, the battle is well and fully ours. Oh, there was still the, my bad. Oh, there was still the Soul Grinder there. And actually, the Soul Grinder did a little bit of damage, about 3,000. He was launching those magical javelins at Grumbrindle there, who, lost about 20% of his HP, maybe? maybe 25%, a little bit closer to it. Not too bad, and maybe I should have focused down the Soul Grinder. You can't underestimate the Tzeentch Soul Grinders with those anti-single target sniping javelins. They're very, very nice, but we had other things to contend with, because a single volley from a burning chariot or something can do horrendous damage to pretty much anything. But anyway, a lovely fight in a lovely map, and some lovely damage from our troll hammers. Alright, there we go. Pretty darn decent. The enemy lord did manage to get a spell off at the end, damaging one of our artillery pieces, but otherwise, not really a problem. The battle barge was kind of in a dangerous position in this particular battle, and frankly, so were the gyrocopters, and I did like the performance of the gyrocopters, the troll hammers. The main problem that they have is they require a pretty huge amount of micro. Their reload time is extremely slow compared to any of the other gyrocopter variants, and thus they'll tend to fire and then just sit there for like 20 seconds or however long it takes for them to fire, which means it's best off to get them moving in and take a shot, then run away, and then undo it again. But you can get a lot of value out of them because these are mobile troll hammers that, as we saw with those burning chariots, can do a massive amount of damage per volley. So yeah, we'll take the money simply because we are still in our friendly territory, and we'll continue being so while we head to the Nurglite Lord, though, oh, actually we'll suffer attrition for this turn. I lied, but anyway. Kidnapper, Hand Tzeentch called Destroy, Dwarf Bride for Grimbrindle, but he doesn't need one. And I guess you could just move in March stance. We'll heal for a turn before we fight the Nurglites here, and then we'll move on in. Oh, lovely, and that leaves, that's the last one, right? Yeah, that will complete this particular adventure. We're still missing that Dodan battle, but we'll head towards it once one of our armies is retrofitted. We still need to kill Mugga the Scurry, our Mugga Scurry, but we'll do so once we confederate Thorgrim, which will probably be in the next couple of episodes. And then only the Skaven one will remain. We need another Thunder Barge. I guess the Fire Army is going to probably get that, or the All-Air Army. We have to find Arkstorm the Experimenter, but he's in Clan Moore's territory, and so quite far. And where's the Stilema chain? It's down here. Okay, we'll be able to do that relatively quickly once we confederate Thorgrim as well, so that works. Alright, let's keep on moving. We don't have a lot of time, unfortunately. We have been bouncing around between reaching the engagement threshold and not. The likes have certainly dropped far below over the last few episodes, but the comments were still over the threshold, so that was good enough. But the last episode didn't reach either, so this will be regular time, so we gotta get a move on. Azrael, you are going to move on to, or past the gates of Jar here, to take the Tower of Gorgoth. I think these guys don't have a lot of territories remaining. A little bit concerned as to where they'll go once we take them out. And now they only have the two, so the Demon Stump and the Tower of Gorgoth presumably are their last holds, which is lovely. Ungrim, you're going to find that out for sure. I'm going to want you to move right beside this little guy right here, Vamik, and, that's actually a kind of an interesting army. Lots of Doom Wheels and stuff. I wasn't going to fight it, but I don't know. It's a relatively inferior army, mind you, but it does kind of look fun. I'll think about it. Let's move everybody else around and then maybe fight that just because we can. You're gonna go to Miragliano, or just outside Miragliano, to attack Rafrafa next turn. Belagar, I would like you to head to Tobaro and occupy it. And try to catch any of the other runaway Skaven. The auto-resolve is gonna kill the drum again, isn't it? Why would it even kill the drum? It moves so slowly. 30 movement speed. It's only slightly faster than the artillery pieces. Well, let's find out. How badly will this damage the drum? It's currently got 2, 3, 4, 5 HP, and it now has no HP at all. Oh, no. And I really like the drums for the support of certain armies, but the auto-resolve seems to hate them. And we can't heal quite well here as well. Alright, we might have to manually do the next battle, but I suppose since Magritta is a capital, it's likely to have to be manual anyway, so that'll work. Then, there's a couple of other things I want to do here. First of all, I would like to see, despite the probably crazy cost of the supply lines, I want to see what this legendary Grudge Lord does. Grudge Striker, recruitment cost reduction, global recruitment duration is great, but I want to see if he does anything else, or whether this is all that... Stand your ground. I don't think regular lords have stand your ground, so he gets that. Do these guys have a unique tree, I wonder? I guess we're about to find out, Gal. It's because I wanna replace these guys, these dwarf warriors in this army, with Longbeards anyway. This army isn't going to stay in the current form that it is. It's just that we need it right now to do things, and then we'll retrofit it in the same way that we're doing to the other armies. What do you got? Stubborn campaigner resolute. Hello, yeah, this is a unique tree. Ooh, what does this do? Campaign movement range and perfect vigor. I mean, that's alright. Perfect vigor is garbage simply because you get it very quickly, or reasonably quickly, generally, just by existing. Age defines 15% physical resistance for Longbeards. Huh. Okay, that means a Longbeard-centric army. I was going to do that on another lord, but alright, fine. A Wisdom of the Ancients upkeep production for Longbeards. Okay, so this guy's gonna lead and Frenzy for Longbeards. But funnily enough, because Frenzy is already available to the Grudge Settler variant of Longbeards, this wouldn't be he wouldn't need the Grudge Settler Longbeards. Alright, fair enough. Armies replenish in foreign territory and immunity to diplomatic penalties from trespassing. Oh, that's quite interesting. Huh. Alright, go figure. Anyway, I guess we're gonna go Root Marcher and Inspiring Presence for now, and since you're going to be buffing Longbeards, you may as well buff them. Huh. Actually, out of curiosity, does he actually buff Longbeards that well? 15% physical resistance, and upkeep reduction, and frenzy. I mean, that's pretty good. And just keep in mind that that's at the cost of 5% physical resistance, so he gains 10% physical resistance, and loses 3 melee defense and 15% weapon strength for Longbeards. And any other melee units, mind you, but yeah, slight difference, but I think the Frenzy pushes it over the top. And of course the upkeep is quite nice, so yeah, I'm gonna have some Longbeards. Start recruiting. And we gotta get you to level 12 as fast as possible. I wasn't intending to essentially start you off here, but you know what? Longbeards versus Exiles of Khorne, I think that might be pretty fun. Sort of melee on melee action. As many of you know, I like that sort of thing. And we'll have to figure out what exactly will be in this army other than Longbeards. I don't want to echo the sort of standard sort of army that Burundan here is gonna have, though I'm kinda now thinking... maybe the War Drum's not the best idea. If the auto-resolve will kill it off. You know what, we'll see. If the auto-resolve keeps killing it, I'll just delete it and replace it with something else. We can live without it, I would say, so. Yeah, but that army is going to have Longbeards and Quarrelers. You are going to have Longbeards in greater numbers and something else, though as to what, I've not yet decided. I was thinking maybe little Groms, maybe some... do some Imperial Artillery, could do some Hellstorms, for example. They're reasonably cheap, though there's a lot of Imperial units that we want, funnily enough. You're not able to build them... oh! Maybe combine Longbeards with some Cavalry, perhaps. There's certainly that option as well. The Knights of the Black Rose are pretty darn solid as a cav, though I guess their problem is that... oh, wow. I thought that the allegiance cost for demigryphs would be insane, but it's actually not as much as I thought it was. Huh, interesting. Slow, well, the Anvil of the Longbeards and the Cavalry Hammer? Maybe. But anyway, for now, let's keep on moving. Fairly interesting lord. I think there's another grudge that we can get that will get a... give us another one of those types of lords, like a unique grudge lord. But anyway, move to Valley of Horns, and you're probably not going to attack the Sentinels yet. You're gonna wait for your reinforcement slash retrofit from Morgus here, who needs to move to the Vale of Woe, and then recruit 2 organ guns. Not that we necessarily have to have the organ guns, just for a little bit of variety in that particular army. What else do we have here? Calon, Grundledrag, Dimzed, Thunderstone. Okay, you guys are the artillery masters.
Yes, laddie.
And we need one more. I want 4 artillery masters. If you're wondering why 4, it's because it'll be an army almost entirely composed of nothing but artillery. And 4 would mean basically 100% uptime for the ballistics calibration, which would mean 20% or plus 20 reload skill for all of the artillery. And we could buff that up with another war drum, which also has artillery reload buffs. I'll think about it. I really like the war drums. It's just that once again, damn auto-resolve. Always screwing around with the units you enjoy. Anyway, like the war wagons too. And I really do like the war wagons. Anyway, let's declare war on you. You're only fighting Karazakarak, so we can help them out a little before we confederate them over the next couple of turns. Clan Rictus. This is Clan Rictus, right? Verms is all the way out here, or it should be. Yeah, it looks Rictus-y to me. Propose offer. Like so. Also, if we... Okay, well, we're stuck anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's not like we were going to sack this anyway, because it's a Badlands territory, so we'd occupied. Go after this. I'm not going to bother leveling, because this isn't really worthy of effort, but I imagine that the settlement will be auto-resolvable, so this one I think will fight. Plus, all those doom wheels and stuff. Go. Oh. They have 6 uses of menaces below. Okay, that's going to be potentially annoying. But then again, tons of slayers, so good luck to the little rats.
On my oath, they die.
Alright, that was a nice shot. Anyway, here we go. I think another good reason to fight this, as this is probably the last fight for this Slayer army in its current form. The regular Slayers are about to be replaced or retrofitted by the higher level variants, and the rest of the army is going to get some other units in here as well. So, gotta enjoy these Slayers doing their thing while they can. But of course, it's the cannon that are going to start the day. It'll be an exchange of artillery fire between the Warp Lightning Cannon and our regular cannon, and we'll see who carries the day, though it looks like the enemy's already lost a good half of their Warp Lightning crew. And, oh, I don't know whether they were missing. No, they were targeting our Slayers here. Bad idea. Much better idea with the Plague Claws, mind you, as that single volley will take about 30% of the HP off of these Slayers, though keep in mind they're not going to die as long as the cannot die thing is active. Journey's End upgraded, they gotta drop below 50% HP, though another volley from the Plague Claws would do it, so we do need to be careful. Fortunately, the Warp Lightnings are out of there, and our Gyrocopters get summoned, dropping their bombs even as the cannons lay down their fire and continue destroying those artillery pieces. Down to 2 just like that, and soon we'll be down to none. The enemy of course keeps summoning those darn menaces below on top of us. Can't wait to destroy Clan Scryer for good, as it will give us our own menace below variation with being able to summon miners on top of enemies like this. So that'll be quite nice. In the meantime, it looks like some Doom Wheels are trying to make their way around both flanks over on this side and on this side as well, and we're going to have to move Slayers to meet them on both sides. A regular and a Grudge Settler unit of Slayers there together. The Grudge Settler is necessary to reduce the heavy armor of those Doom Wheels with their armor sundering. And there we go, looks like the Doom Wheel will indeed get bogged down. We're also going to move the Dragon Slayer in to help out and add additional damage to it. But this thing should start dropping in terms of its HP fairly fast. Sundered armor, plus the fact that all these Slayers are anti-large, and the Dragon Slayer whacking away with pretty decent buffs on him as well. Hitting for 873 weapon strength and with 94 melee attack, the Doom Wheel will go down very, very quickly. Then we turn our eyes upon the Doom Flayers there, while the rest of the enemy army continues marching forward. Another Another Doom Wheel has been taking shots from our cannon as well, but I think that one might be destroyed. Over on the right flank, yet another Doom Wheel attempts to charge through, and this one a little bit more successfully, as these Slayers are going to have a little bit more of a difficult time bogging it down. But bog it down, and they shall. Rest of the enemy army marches forward. It's time to get a little bit of work for our Goblin Hewers, who are going to target the Storm Vermin, and, Rictus Clanstone, why? I'm not entirely sure why they did that, because the Storm Vermin are not going to get any help from that. At least I don't think. Ungrim isn't a large model, so the bonus versus large isn't going to help them out against the Goblin Hewers, which have sent both units nearly packing. Some Storm Vermin units, however, do make it through and will begin to fight our regular Slayers, though I imagine this is a decent matchup for us. On the one hand, our regular Slayers don't have much in the way of armor piercing. On the other hand, they should have much better stats than the Storm Vermin. Scorch comes in, but hits pretty much nothing, and it looks like the enemy army is pretty much done for. Hardly surprising, considering they were in march stance and we were able to destroy their artillery and their Doom Wheels before they could do too much. Great to see these Slayers outdo the Doom Wheels as well, as they are a very dangerous unit if the enemy were allowed to use them properly. Lovely. Always love watching the Slayer armies fight like we did here. Alright, very nice. Little to no losses. In fact, one loss. And who actually... It wasn't any of the Slayers, it must have been one of the artillery crew. So technically this actually counts as no losses, right? Because since no artillery actual pieces were destroyed, this isn't relevant. 80, 80, 80... yeah. Yeah, these guys all kept their units. Great. Well, it looks like that ability that the Slayers have, that that they don't die unless they reach a certain HP threshold, really helps out in these situations. As they did get hit with artillery, they did get hit with our own axes, they did get hit via with warp lightning, but not enough to drop them significantly enough in terms of HP, though they did lose a decent bit of HP nonetheless. Anyway, oh yeah, it was this artillery crew. We can see it move when we do this. Anyway, execute and yeah, just execute and load. Keep taking that money. And then turn right around and move towards the Demon Stump, since we're already here. Another Slayer Ward, lovely. Let's see what we have here. Basically nothing. Auto-resolve that, and even the auto-resolve basically does no damage. If we had a war drum, it would have probably been destroyed. Occupy. Yes, yes. Alright, another Stonemason, another Brewmaster, though I don't think you need one, and we have much more limited Brewmasters, I think, than we have Stonemasons, of which we have all of them. Just immediately upgrade the Dwarf Keep here. It's not super expensive, especially now that we have Belagar to significantly reduce costs. Stochel is going to continue his siege. Callan Deep Brow, everybody else is looking good to me. Alright, so let's pick our new tech, and that's going to be Oath Stones, obviously. Upkeep production faction-wide for all units. Once again, it's a bit of Oath Gold, and the rest of the expensive stuff will be a bit of Oath Gold as well. Ooh, we need those Dwarfen Emissaries as well for the additional Allegiance points, especially since we're looking to continue borrowing some of the Imperial and Kislevite troops. I also see that you're still alive. Yeah, we're going to have to destroy them manually ourselves with these guys. I was thinking we could send them elsewhere and leave the Empire to deal with them, but once again, it seems that the devs have purposely programmed it so that these factions are never allowed to actually kill off the Fecondites. They will destroy their armies and take all the settlements back, but it's essentially an artificial way of keeping these guys in constant fighting here, which is, I mean, I get it, I get the reasoning behind it, but it's still a little bit annoying in either way. They should have it so it's randomized. Maybe sometimes it happens, maybe sometimes it doesn't, just so that the campaigns would function a little bit differently in that particular regard. But anyway, did I move the... Where are we here? Okay, I moved the architect this turn. We do have quite a bit of money, but we also need it for next turn. Potentially, we are going to upgrade all of this once the architect gets to this territory, so we can ignore that. Mountains of Hell. I mean, we'll probably still have to travel through Winterpire either way. Is this Winterpire? Yeah, it is. It's 540 gold. It's basically irrelevant now, so just do it. Just do it. Gorger Rock. You're far from any constructors, so I think regardless of the cost, we'll upgrade the stuff here, and especially the money-making building. Stormwreck Mountain Pillar of Skulls, you guys will be expensive, so we'll send the constructor back around this. Oh, wait, these guys were on the way to Gorger Rock, weren't they? Oh. Well then, I guess they can wait. Where were you headed? Just to Gorger Rock and then back around? I mean, we also got Blizzard Peak nearby in both of these territories. Alright, that's fine. And then I guess the question is, will we have to move to Jarnagrund next? Actually, Jarnagrund is okay for now. I'm inclined to say we move back to Carrick Doom and the Skull Road. The thing is, since this place doesn't have the... Okay, well, we will upgrade the Guild Marketplace, but since this place doesn't have the Trinket Makers or the other variant of the Commerce Building, it doesn't reduce cost. Toolmakers Guild Hall Industry, whatever. And without the additional cost reduction, it's fairly expensive. Jarnagrund, let's just level the stone bread bakery up. Probably not going to send constructors here as they're a little bit far. You and you will be reduced. I mean, at 2k, we can just build them up. And they'll... wait. Yeah, they'll both need to be leveled to the next tier once we get the Great Hold up and running here. Just make our admin a little bit easier in the future. Feast Hall's quite cheap, so we can do it here in Peak Pass. Blizzard Peak, we're well on the way with some constructors. I would like a third constructor over there, but it's not super critical right now. We do want the reinforced gate at the Fortress of the Damned, but it's quite expensive right now, and there isn't any real threat nearby, so I think we can hold off on it. Herders Guild Hall, more growth for this place, and just go for it. It's fine. Bone Road, we are probably not going to move constructors here, but all this is fairly expensive. Hold off on it. It's not critical and we need to keep recruiting, and we are preparing right now for the Confederation, which is going to absolutely cripple our income. No doubt about it. So I think I'd rather hold at least some money. Yeah. So let's not go overboard with all the building stuff. I think we're good now. Or at least it's looking good. Let's just... Alright, okay, the constructors are going to move to Ostermark to... Okay, yeah, we'll upgrade Miragliano. Yeah, now that Zamnel is there, we're free to upgrade it. I wasn't originally going to hold on to these territories, but because they have a lot of ports, even if they are yellow territories, it might still be worth our time to deal with them. So let's hold off on... well, let's not hold off on that. Fortress of Eyes in the Volary, you're going to be traded to our Kislevite friends, Kawark. What does this cost? 1740? Yeah, no, I'm not spending that. Silver Tower of Sorcerers, we... oh, the growth. 69, nice. Well, it was held by the Tzeentch after all. And I believe that's it. Verdanos will fall probably next turn to the Yorks, but we do have reinforcements on the way. Alright, and I believe we can end the turn with that. Yes, unless there's diplomacy to do, though I don't imagine that there is. Roswin clan, there's that confed, but we'll confed via the grudge tree instead. Skip. Here on moved. Building upgrade available. Damaged building. Yeah, don't care. Outpost upgrade available with Cathay. I mean, we do want those. Oh, these guys will enable us to recruit the Sky Junks. And I don't know about these guys, so I think maybe we should still upgrade. But it doesn't necessarily have to be now because we don't have any allegiance with the western provinces at the current time because we used it all on war drums. End turn. Gotta do what you gotta do. Battle drums are appropriate. Avalorn, Alariel, you will end our trade agreement. Well, that's just rude. How to be entered into the book. Randomly end a trade agreement for no particular reason, especially considering the AI benefits from it more than we do, especially the Elven AI. It looks like they're trying to make us consider actually crossing out that elven grudge, and hey, these guys will in fact attack us. Okay, I was not expecting that, but I am pleasantly surprised. This does mean a field battle for the Jartrum. Beautiful. Unfortunately, though, we're out of time, and we'll have to do this field battle at the start of next episode. Well, I guess that's what we'll be doing next episode, in addition to wherever else we've got to move. The retrofit should probably happen in next episode, so both Ungrim and the Thunderer army will be ready to go and start working on the Legion of Asgore, who our second after Grimgore victory condition. I think with them wiped out, that'll be the long victory, though it does seem like there's still a lot of fun potential in this campaign, whereas Elspeth is effectively close to being one. We've still got a lot to do in the Badlands in this one, at least a lot of potential big name enemies. And there's of course the Broken Axe as well, and several armies we haven't tried. But you know what, Elspeth is at this point, what, like 20 or 30 turns ahead, so it does make sense. Anyway, the dwarf turns went a little bit slower due to the presence of some of the battles. Anyway, more of Malakai to come and his adventures. We gotta finish those off as well, including the final Skaven battle, though I might save that for the final battle of the campaign. But it does give us a reward, doesn't it? I'll think about it. Anyway, more to come. Stay tuned. All glory to the algorithm. Likes and comments below. And thanks for watching.